tyranny are eradicated.
Well, let's speak now to Dr. Hyde, an Associate Fellow at Chatham House. Thank you very much for joining us on BBC News on another day of incredible momentum by the rebels who took the capital, Damascus, overnight. Extraordinary speed, which I think everyone has been taken by surprise by. Would you agree?
100%, but this comes in a series of surprises, which started almost 10 days ago with the fall of Aleppo, and then it became some sort of a domino effect that led to the fall of Damascus. However, we have to also remember that the country right now is still divided into different areas, and different groups are in charge of different territories. So that will also sort of complicate what comes next.
Yes, so many questions potentially to ask you about this unfolding and evolving situation. Let's begin with the leader of the rebels, Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani. How much control do you think he has over the various groups in the country? Is this a tight group that he leads, or is it made up of many different factions, many different groups operating under that title of HTS?
So HTS is one unified group, and al-Jawlani, he has full control over that group. However, if you look at the fighting that is happening in Syria, it started with an offensive that was led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and other rebel groups, but you have also other sort of fighting groups elsewhere in the country. You have the Syrian National Army, which is backed by Turkey, also fighting in northwestern Syria. And then you have local armed groups who push regime forces out of their territories. Now, when we talk about control, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and al-Jawlani has full control over its group, but has sort of decent control over the groups that are fighting alongside it. However, that does not apply to other groups, whether those who are fighting alongside HTS in northwestern Syria, or those who started their own fight in southern Syria or even in Damascus.
So do you think there is an opportunity here for Syria to move towards free elections, which is what the Prime Minister hopes for, or do you think we're a long way from that?
I think there's potential for that for sure. But I think what's happening right now and what comes next in the upcoming few days will be quite crucial. One of the main challenges is what to do with Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and how to engage with al-Jawlani, if ever. And that's a decision that is still being discussed right now, not only among Syrian actors, but also among regional and international actors. And I think the outcome of that will somewhat shape what comes later. If we are looking at a scenario in which Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and al-Jawlani will be completely sort of isolated and not engaged with, then we could see potentially divisions as well as competition and even maybe fighting between that group and the rest of the transitioning body that will try to govern Syria. Now, if we imagine a different scenario in which the group's interests might be secured without maybe the participation of Jawlani directly, then we could look at a different scenario there.
So a really crucial next few days. How important will the role of Turkey be in trying to ensure some sort of stability over the next few days? I use the term stability relatively, of course, but Turkey seems to have a crucial role in this, doesn't it?
True. And Turkey is now sort of trying to not only engage with, but negotiate with different local as well as regional and international actors. But I think still, as I said, it's not clear to what extent Turkey will be able to maintain that role as well as its influence if the questions we talked about before are not sort of answered in a way that will not only secure Jolani's interest, but also allow him to play a role in the future. Because I think many people, when they talk about the relationship between HTS and Turkey, they either overestimate Turkey's influence over Hayat Tahrir al-Sham or underestimate it. It's a complicated relationship, but at the end, they own, each has their own interests. And when those interests overlap, they cooperate. But when they don't, there will be competition. And this is what we have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, whether al-Jolani's interests are the same interests as those of other countries in the region and indeed further afield. That's something we'll explore further. But for the moment, Dr. Haid Haid, Associate Fellow at Chatham House, thank you very much for your thoughts on this developing story. And we will absolutely be looking around the region and indeed internationally at reaction to what is happening